The NEET 2025 results are just around the corner, and you are probably one of the two types of students. The first one is you might be just in a complete holiday mode. You've watched every movie that released in the theater in the last 2 months. You watched Final Destination Bloodlines. You watched the new Mission Impossible movie 3 times. You're meeting with friends, roaming outside, you're going on trips. You're just in a complete chill mode. Or you are the student who thinks, I don't need a movie. The NEET preparation itself was Mission Impossible, and you're just anxious and stressed about the NEET results that are going to come out soon. But the common question that both these type of students would have asked themselves is, should I take a drop year or not? And this, though sounds like a simple question, is one of the most important questions you can ask yourself, because it is going to determine what your next year, your entire upcoming year, is going to look like. And if you make the wrong decision, you will not even realize that this was the wrong decision until and unless a year is over. And the thing is, there are thousands of NEET coachings like your Narayana, Chaitanya, and all of these other coaching institutes in India. And almost all of them would have a NEET droppers batch. Maybe in your college or your coaching institute, you might have seen NEET droppers batches, which comprise of your seniors. And these people, the cold hard reality is that almost 98% of all of these NEET dropper batches, their results will not improve in any significant way even after 1 year of dropping. Sometimes students might even have to take 2 years, 3 years to get a very good score in NEET. So 2 to 3 years. And the kind of people you are going to be competing against would be people who got 500 plus in NEET and they have dropped a year because they want to get more than 620, or they want to get close to 700 in NEET. Those are the kind of students you'll be competing with. Making the wrong decision is going to not only waste 1 year of your time, but on top of that, it's going to waste your parents' hard earned money. And the thing is, it's only after a year that you look back and you realize that taking a drop year was a mistake, because your parents spent all their hard earned money on your NEET coaching. You studied all of those countless nights of just stress and anxiety, and an entire year just gone by just like that. Your friends would graduate a year early than you, they would become a doctors a year early than you, they would be finishing everything a year early than you, and here you are taking a drop, spending all this money, still not having anything to show for that drop year. That is going to be a tough pill to swallow. And in this video, we will go over whether dropping is a correct decision for you or not. So let's get started. Before you even think about dropping for NEET, you need to understand what exactly your goal would be if you did drop for NEET. So the NEET score benchmarks are, out of the total marks in NEET are 720. You probably already know that. So out of 720, you need to get at least 400 to have any options at all. If you only get like 300 or something, you won't really have any options. You need to get bare minimum 400 or more score to have some options, and usually the only options you will have at this particular score would be government private colleges and stuff like that. That will be really expensive. So we're talking 80, 90 lakhs, or sometimes even in quite a few cases it's even more than 1 crore. The next would be the actual safe zone, guaranteed to get government seats, free seats, and you'll have a lot of options, private, government, depends on you. That score would be 620. And the toppers of NEET, the people who rank in like the top 100, top 50, those toppers will be scoring more than 700 in NEET. So the top 700 plus score is for top 10 colleges, and 620 is the kind of score you need to get that will allow you, 620 or close to that, will allow you to get free seats. Of course, if you are SC, ST, OBC, or you have some sort of reservation, you might even get free seats or any other kind of government seats right from 500, 550 scores like that. So the next thing is the harsh reality of MBBS. This is something that not many people are willing to acknowledge, but this is a cold hard truth that you must know. If you want to do MBBS in India, you need to be in the top 10 percentile, or you need to be rich enough to afford the expensive private colleges in India, because only top 10% will get the free seats and the top colleges and decent medical colleges, whereas people who don't have that level of academic prowess will have to rely on donations and high fees to private medical colleges to get their MBBS done in India. So you should consider a drop year only if your most recent NEET attempt, your score is between 400 to 500. It's 410, 420. Go ahead. You can consider a drop year for your NEET, and only take it if you think you can score, your score can reach 600 plus. So you're in 400, 420, 450, a bracket like that, and you think that by taking a drop year you can comfortably push your score to 600 plus. This is very possible. Many top students have done it. So if you think this is possible for you, then by all means go ahead, take a drop year, and go crazy with that. Of course, if you have some reservations, you can aim for a 500, 550 score and you'll still be fine. Do not now. This is gonna be a little divisive, but if your most recent score is less than 300, or you didn't qualify for NEET at all, then in that case you should not consider taking a drop year for NEET. There have been people that have scored very badly on their first NEET, like 100, 120 or something like that, and they have gone on to take drop years. They take multiple drop years, like 2 years or 3 years of dropping continuously, and then they were able to get a 600 plus score. Cases like this are there. Have like less than 300 score in NEET, and you want to take a drop year, saying, oh, but I got really good marks in 11th and 12th, and I was a school topper and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Competitive exams like NEET, preparing for them and preparing for 10th, 12th board exams or SSC exams, they're two completely different things. There are many 10th and 12th toppers, but there can only be very few NEET rankers. So it's going to be very hard. Your 10th and 12th marks are not indicative of your potential NEET scores. In fact, most of the people I know in my personal life who did really well in school, like 10th and 12th, they didn't really do that well in competitive exams like NEET and JEE. So you need to be extremely honest with yourself, be very self aware about your exam scoring ability, and be realistic. See, if you get 100 or 120 score, then thinking you will take a drop year to improve your score to 400, 500, it can be done, but it is very hard. You can double your score if you work hard, if you properly do multiple times revision, hardcore mock exams and stuff like that. You can definitely double your score. But most of the people that I have seen who start off with 100 or 120 score in NEET, it takes them multiple years. It takes them 2 years of 3 years of dropping for them to get like a 600 plus score in NEET. So that is how hard the stats are. India is a very competitive place. It's going to be very hard to score really well in NEET, and their entire competitive exam NEET preparation, it is such a painful, tension, anxiety giving journey that I wouldn't really, I mean, I would wish that on my worst enemy, but it's very difficult, the competitive exams. So what is the alternative now? Let's say you don't do that well in NEET. So what is the alternative for you? You still want to become a doctor, but you haven't done that well in NEET. you can definitely choose study abroad as a option for you. And guess what? Right now in India, if you want to get the exam, you have to get the medical licensing exam. You'll have to write the next exam. But even if you go abroad, finish your MBBS in an abroad nation, come back, and you want to practice in India, you will still have to write the next exam. So the path is either you crack NEET really well, then go to MBBS for 6 years in some medical college in India, and then you write next, or you can just skip the entire NEET exam part. You can directly go to MBBS abroad if you've qualified NEET, and then go back to India and write next. So the bottom line is, you want to become a practicing doctor in India, you do really well in NEET, you go do MBBS in India, and then you write the next exam. Or you can just go do MBBS in Uzbekistan, let's say for instance, do your 6-year MBBS there, come back to India and write next. In Uzbek, the only extra, you can do the same thing in Russia. The only step that will be extra in Russia is you would have to, after your MBBS in Russia is over, you would have to write the medical licensing exam of Russia, which will be in Russian language, and then get the Russian license, medical license, and then come back to India and then write the next exam in India. Except Uzbekistan, if you finish your MBBS degree in Uzbekistan, you'll automatically get your license, so you don't have to write any extra exam. So no time will be wasted. You can just no time, no extra exam. You'll just directly come to India and you can write next. Yeah. So whether you do MBBS in India or abroad, you just have to come to India and write next anyway if you want to be a doctor in India. So you might as well, not take on the pain that is NEET preparation, and spend way less money than MBBS in India, and just write next and become a doctor in India. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, there is a catch. The only thing is, if you go to an abroad nation, you will have to learn the local language of that nation. There is no way around it. You will have to learn it, and you'll have to adjust, obviously, living abroad. So this is the choice you have. Either you go through the painful grind of NEET preparation, and then, if you don't get a 600 score and you don't have any reservation, then you'll have to spend close to 70 lakhs on a private medical college in India, or you'll have to just learn the language of a foreign nation and finish MBBS there in less than 32 lakhs. So the choice is yours. The second option is obviously easier and cheaper. Now, the conclusion is, if you have a NEET score of 300 or less, or you didn't even qualify NEET, then, and you still want to get some government medical college in India, then realistically, you might have to drop not just 1 year, you might have to drop 2 years or maybe 3 years. But if you don't want to take any of these drop years, you don't want to waste your parents' hard-earned money on all that drop year coaching and stuff like that, and you still want to become a doctor in India, studying your MBBS abroad in countries like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, or Russia under 32 lakhs, and then coming back to India is the easier option. Now notice how I say it is the easier option. It is not the easy option, because regardless of whether you do MBBS in India or you do MBBS in abroad, MBBS will require a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. This is not a vacation. You're not going to a foreign nation for a vacation. You're going there to study. So it is not going to be easy. Even if you decide to do MBBS abroad, you will have to study, you will have to work, and you will have to make sure that you become a good doctor who has a lot of practical clinical knowledge and not just theoretical knowledge. So it is an easier option, but it is not an easy option. So that is the complete transparency about studying MBBS in abroad. And if you want to take a drop year or you want to study abroad, the choice is completely up to you. So some of our upcoming videos are going to be the interviews with Indian students who are currently pursuing their MBBS abroad, so that you get to understand what kind of conditions are there, how are Indians adjusting in foreign nations and stuff like that, and more videos about specific universities in Russia, Georgia, Uzbekistan, etc. and some top 10 budget universities for MBBS abroad for 2025 and more. So if you want to watch those videos, subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification